So to get things started, we got a tremendously good-looking group here on stage that is super excited to be here with everybody. But I would like everyone to introduce themselves, the people in the room that may not know everybody on the stage. But again, my name is Thomas Hutton. I'm the executive director and starting my 6th year with the section back as your executive director. So excited to be here, and we'll just go right on down the panel.
All right. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Scott Archer, proud PGA member and your assistant executive director, and I'm also starting my 6th season here with Southern Texas PGA.
Hello, everybody. My name is Dylan Gladney. I'm a recruiting and member engagement specialist for the PGA of America. Excited to be here, and I'm on my 2nd year with the PGA.
I am Becca Bailey. I'm the player engagement consultant for this part of the region for PGA headquarters. I've just started my 2nd year as well.
Yeah, Doug Turner, PGA member, served Southern Texas section as a career services consultant from '98 to 2000, June of 16 to June of 17 when Kelly was hired, and then he just got me back. I'm just kidding. Been back just for about a year now, so I'm looking forward to serving.
Thanks, Doug. Kelly Gilling. It was a pleasure to actually get to work for Southern Texas PGA for about 5 years before I joined the PGA of America staff back in 2017. I am happy to be in my 25th year of PGA membership and serve as regional director for PGA of America.
Hello, everybody. Andrew Ridley here, director of business operations. Total about 5 years here at Southern Texas, and proud Boilermaker. Had to throw that in there.
Not after yesterday. It's all right. It's all right. We're going to lose yesterday, but that's all right.
Could we? Did we lose yesterday?
You did. That's what ours. Moving right along there, Mr. Altimus. But we have a great panel here today. We really have 2 goals for this session. One is to discuss STPGA For You, and then 2, to showcase how all of us on stage are a true resource for all of you in this room. At your seats when you arrived this morning, everyone should have received a document called STPGA For You. In partnership with your board of directors, in December, we updated our strategic vision and ended with this document that we are super proud of. For those of you that were in the room 3 or 4 years ago, we announced our first ever strategic vision, and you can call this 2.0, that our last vision had the same mission of serve our members, grow the game, and elevate the association, but we kind of adjusted our areas of focus and the key elements inside our vision. At a high level, we are here on this stage to serve you, to grow the game, and to elevate the association. We have 4 main focuses under serve the member, 2 main focuses under grow the game, and 2 under elevate the association. This document was put together after doing our survey in September to the membership. Our board had a tremendous 2-day planning session in December, and a big shout out to Scott, our officers, and our entire team for kind of putting a final draft together that's in front of you today. We believe that this is kind of our shining light, our North Star of what we are going to do day in and day out as our staff and as a team here to serve you, grow the game, and elevate the association. While we're not going to go line by line in this document over this panel, we are going to cover different things in this, as well as cover other things sticking with our goals of discussing the packet, but also showcasing all of us on this stage as a resource for you, because we are here to serve you. So to get things started, I'm going to turn to my assistant executive director here, Scott, who he handles all of our educational offerings. That was a key highlight and a key element in our survey, and I think we've definitely hit that with this STPGA For You. And so, Scott, I'll start with a very simple question of, can you elaborate on what the section is currently doing to provide first-class education for our PGA members and other insight into education?
Yeah, thank you, Thomas. I'd be happy to. Before I get into that, a big thank you to Member Services Committee co-chairs Rich Ballinger and Krista Carratrees, along with all of the committee members, for the excellent work they do in coming up with great speakers and lineups for events such as these. I think the obvious place to start when we start discussing education would be today's event. Everyone has noticed we've got a new logo. We've transitioned this from annual meeting and reporting into an education summit and annual meeting. I think evidence of that was this morning having both Dan Thurman and Tim Novak as co-keynote speakers this morning. Action-packed morning of education. So a big thank you to the Member Services Committee and Board of Directors for their direction and support on that. Moving into our Coaching and Teaching Summit, we resurrected this program in 2019, started off at Austin Country Club. Thank you, Dale, for hosting that first event. We've been working, getting great feedback from our attendees and improving those lineups, transitioning that more into how can our PGA members get education at that event and an event like these that you can truly take home to your facilities and to your businesses, put those into practice, make yourself better professionals, and leverage that for higher wages. In the last 4 years, we have had 220 PGA members and associates attend that Coaching and Teaching Summit. Also, over the last 2 years, we've been conducting PGA of America education workshops at the STPGA office. These are fantastic events, 2 days packed full of education that not only give a lot of MSRs, not PDRs, but also have the benefit of giving you about 70% of completion of the specialized professional process. We are working with the PGA of America Education Department right now on conducting another one of those in May. We're looking to conduct that over the Executive Management course path, as we've already touched on coaching and teaching and golf operations. These are fantastic programs, so make sure to sign up and come join us for those. And then lastly, the Member Services Committee, myself, Thomas, Andrew, we're working on looking into more quick-hit digital education items. These are going to be great for not only giving you some quick education, making you stronger as PGA members and associates, but also giving another platform for our amazing partners to really find benefits in their partnerships with the section.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Scott, and I think that last one is really important to touch on. We talked about that in our board meeting yesterday, of just having a full schedule of education, whether or not it's, these are obviously 2 big days that we have going on right now, but really adding just like, hey, here's a 1-hour session that, we're going to cover this topic, we're going to talk about this, we're going to maybe have a partner that might be presenting during that 1 hour, but kind of have a full schedule. So more to come on that, as that's been a big topic with our partners, and hopefully a really good benefit to you all here in this room. On top of that, I want to turn it to Kelly, which kind of breathes right into this next question. We started this regional model at the PGA of America to have resources that are on stage. And Kelly, why don't you share a little bit about some of the new things that your team's going to be doing from an education perspective?
Sure, thanks, Thomas. One of the things that we know, everybody in this room knows, is that your connection to PGA of America really starts here with your section, even at your chapter level, really. But the sections and the section staffs, as we travel around the region, just think about, you've heard about it today, the number of junior golf events the section runs, the number of section events, the other education opportunities and things that the staff is doing. And they have limited resources to make all that happen. So we wanted to provide an opportunity for members to have more educational opportunities throughout the year, all throughout the year, not necessarily just at the Teaching and Coaching Summit and here. So we have a monthly calendar of educational topics that we'll be presenting. Some of those will be panels with PGA professionals. If you see something that's of interest to you and you want to serve on a panel, we'd love to have you. But these are topics, everything from recruiting to mentoring your associates through the new program to even budgeting for associates and assistants, things along those lines. So these are things that we're hearing people saying, hey, I need more information. I want to do things differently. So we're looking forward to providing that education virtually for all 6 sections in this region. And you can kind of see the lineup right there, but really looking forward to it again. And if you have interest in being on a panel, raise your hand. Let us know. We'd love to hear from you.
And we're going to be sending this out. This was kind of breaking news last week that Kelly put together, so we appreciate that. And obviously, those are the dates. I think this goes right really well with our idea of having an education schedule, and appreciate the work that your team put together, Kelly, and putting this together. And I think it's going to be really good for everybody. So we'll send this out and we'll post it on our website. We'll obviously put this in our newsletter. This will be another thing that we can kind of have like an education corner of like, hey, what's coming up? So really good stuff there. Moving to employment and recruiting, we have 2 people on this stage that focus entirely in this area. Dylan, glad you're here with us today. And I want to start with you. You know, one of the biggest issues in golf right now is finding quality assistants to work at our facilities. Can you tell us a little bit about what you're doing to find the next generation of PGA professionals for everybody here in the room?
Absolutely. Well, first, let me give you your flowers. You're doing an excellent job moderating.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you.
But I guess I want to just really focus first on what we're doing as far as awareness to our future industry professionals, the next generation. Right, we're really focusing on local and national career exploration events and recruiting events that are focused both on short-term and long-term. Now you may ask, what does that look like? Short-term being increased exposure at our PGM universities, our high school events, military and second career fairs that draw, in some cases, thousands of individuals and applicants that would be eligible to work in the facilities and clubs. Now you may ask, okay, what's long-term? You told me about short-term. Now we understand that the industry is changing, aging out, and there's a need, you know, what our CEO often quotes as saying that it is more representative of the world around us, of America, right? And so we realize that the consumer, that the PGA professional is changing. It needs to be more diverse. And so we're attracting more of our community partners, more of our DEI partners, grassroots organizations. I work closely with Becca, closely with Doug, closely with Kelly to really understand what that looks like both short-term and long-term. So we are putting in the work, boots on the ground and virtual to make sure that happens. Additionally, I just want to add the point that we had a new responsibility to our title. We heard me say member engagement specialist, right? And that's something that just came up this last year. We're excited about that. That allows us to focus more on the PQs and the associates.
Yeah, before you get to that, because I do have a follow-up question of kind of another thing for our associates out there. I do think that, you know, I got to give props to our board where we really, inside this serve the member, we broke out employment and recruiting as its own box. And I think that's something from a staff perspective that truthfully hasn't been on our mind from a day in and day out perspective. But I think that is something that with this regional model, with the people on this stage, that in partnership, that is going to be very important because that is something that you all need. We need to find more professionals. We need to find more people to bring into the industry. And you know, one of them that's on here right now, you know, demonstrate the value of PGA membership to our junior golf program. You know, we have this great program that's got 4,000 kids plus parents. Where do they go to school? What's their career path? I think we need to continue to educate them as early and as often about golf and making sure that they understand, hey, this is a great industry to work in. This is a great opportunity to make a good living. And so we're going to do more of that at a section level that I think will balance kind of that national perspective. But Dylan, why don't you share a little bit about, you know, this associate support network, and I think we have a slide on that. But again, encouraging people to be a part of this, a little bit more about that associate and member support.
Absolutely, and let me give my credit to Kelly. If I'm not mistaken, you're the brainchild, or this is your brainchild, Rep.
Thank you for calling me child. I appreciate it.
But yeah, the associate program, we're extremely excited about that. That allows an opportunity for us to engage with Tom Brown, a few other individuals in our support staff as far as membership and education is concerned at HQ to give the associates support, right? So these are calls, 5 to 10 minute calls that we'll offer individually and both virtually for the associate, where they can just learn more about their pathway. What do they need currently? What do they need in their respective sections? And so we're just really excited about that. That is a new initiative. You have to slide up.
And I think the big thing on this, and I have to call out my director or tournament manager, who I believe might not be in the room, but Nick's going through the associate program on our staff. And this was actually something that he made mention of me of, you know, hey, there's a group that I can, you know, naturally gets together. Well, I think, again, kudos to you all to put this together. And I encourage all of you PGA members in this room, you know, if you have assistants or associates going through the program, well, here's where you can promote to them, hey, there's this group out there that's being put on by our PGA, you know, of America team to help you understand and kind of work through that. There's a lot of people, you know, let's call a spade, that the system to become a PGA member is not the easiest to understand. I think just even having that resource is super important.
If I can add, we just ramped up one more resource, and That's our industry job board, Make Golf Your Career, that just rolled out during the PGA show. And you may ask why another job board, but the plus for this site is that the PGA will look to retain the applicants' information, whether they apply for jobs at your facilities or not, and hopefully we can source those applicants to your jobs. So we're excited about that as well.
So, well, moving, I think that's a nice segue there, Dylan. I don't know if you did that naturally, but sure did feel that way. Moving to Doug down there. Doug, how are you, sir? How you doing today, Doug?
I'm good. You had a comment and you didn't give her
I didn't see that.
Yeah.
I didn't see that. I'm so sorry.
No, all good. I know you don't like it when I go on screen.
No, you can go on.
No, for the associate support network, one of the things that we are excited about is the education department, Dawson White and his team, and Tom Brawley and his team are going to help support that. We also are looking to have, section leaders, section presidents come on and pop on at the beginning of each of those calls on a monthly basis and really encourage the associates and kind of tell them a little bit about their story too. And I think, overall, from a PGA of America standpoint, we probably have not done a great job supporting our associates, and we really want to make sure we're doing that throughout the region. At the same time, on the education offerings that you saw earlier on the screen, we're also going to have a session for you, those of you who have associates in the program, about how to mentor your associate through the program. We haven't done that either. And a lot of us in the room really don't understand the new program and what it's like to be an associate right now, so we want to make sure we cover that base as well.
I think that was a very good follow-up, so I apologize that I mentioned there, Dylan. Doug,
Yes, sir.
welcome to Southern Texas. Welcome back.
Hey, love it, love it.
I think employment, the most important thing that we can do to help our members, the space is very active. I know you're extremely busy with what you're doing. One of the things, again, going back to our STPGA For You that we wrote down is really making sure that the PGA of America member understands the connectivity between my role and your role does, and just the general daily, weekly calls that we have to help our members. We view you as a full extension of our team, and I want everyone in this room to understand that everybody on this stage, whether or not they're employed at a section level or a national level, we're a team up here, and I think putting our heads together is really valuable for you all. And so, Doug, with your specific space of employment, what services do you offer to the members? What high-level items do you want to cover today?
Yeah, thanks, Thomas. It's interesting. Our department's called Career Services, and when you think about it from on the collegiate level or even the high school level, you kind of get that. But once you reach the professional level, you don't necessarily track that term. But essentially, we're here to help you. We're here to partner with you in your career. So that can be tangible help, and it can be intangible help. I mean, you think one of the things we do, we help you with resume prep, looking at resumes, how to make yours better, how to increase the chances that it's going to result in you getting an interview. We'll do interview prep with you, help you prepare for an interview. Now we're even better at doing interview review. So you did an interview, how'd you do? Let's talk about that a little bit. How do you engage? Those are kind of sort of the traditional buckets of career services. But with compensation, we've kind of shifted gears. We've moved from one model of a compensation survey to another. This is incredibly important. If we don't have the information, it's hard for us to use that information to help you in your career. What we're seeing now is we're getting these customized reports. We're able to help you see where you are, see where your peers are, and then have those conversations with your employer. Perhaps you are the employer, we can have that conversation as well, help you see where you need to be. So that's kind of your traditional. Well, we talk about demonstrating value and how to help you demonstrate your value to your employer, and some of the things that we do that I really value from the second speaker this morning is we help you ask good questions. I started talking to Ginger Lynn 25 years ago about her career, and we talk about, well, what's the long-term play here? What are we talking about? If I make this career decision here, what is the trickle-down effect, and what does that look like for tomorrow? And I see many of you that we've had these conversations over the years, and so one of the things that we do at the Career Services team is we're a sounding board to help you ask great questions. How do you evaluate yourself? Maybe help you see those blind spots. And so just a resource primarily to help you get better. And some of the tools we have are out there without much assistance. Some of you need my assistance. The things that we've seen change most recently, job postings, they can't be static like they used to be. It doesn't work that way. And compensation, we can't go kicking and screaming into the next wave. We're seeing employers who are PGA members changing their model, which is working downstream, which hopefully will help work upstream. And so those are some of the things, the conversations that we have that we've not had to have those pre-COVID, so to speak, if you want to use that as an excuse. But the market has definitely changed. It's funny, people say, well, what should I pay for this position? I said, pay what you can get, especially if you're advertising for an assistant, because people can't get it. So that's another service that we do is we're networking. We're having to do things differently. I know Rich wouldn't mind, but he said, I've got a student that wants to go to North Texas, and he sends it to Kelly and I will immediately saying, okay, have you thought about this opportunity, this opportunity, this opportunity? Because in the old days, you could just put a post out there, I've got an assistant job here. Hey, go in there, look, you as an assistant, but we're just not seeing that. So we're here to help you come alongside you during these transitional times. It doesn't have to be just when your career is in trouble. It could be when you're forecasting. The latest thing we're doing is helping for so many young professionals entering the twilight of their careers, so we can have those conversations of what does it look like to move from an active role to a passive role to a retired role. So we're here to serve, and Chris Services is get an undergird that service for you. So help me. Let me know.
I appreciate that, Doug, and definitely a big asset, for our members, and I appreciate everything that you do. I do want to take this opportunity, Doug, for both you and I to talk about the compensation survey and give our 30-second pitch, because I know that's going to be a big deal in our funding this year from the PGA of America. So talk about why it's important to do the compensation survey.
Yeah, so employers are looking at those numbers probably more critically now than ever. And, we've seen, like I've got an employer in South Central that's kind of been historically been a pretty good job for assistants. He's had to up his compensation, restructure the way he advertises the job, move into a 5-day work week, just because he couldn't get anyone. And so what we're seeing is, well, what do the numbers say? And we can do custom reports that we really didn't have access to in the past that would say, kind of drill down a little bit. So, if you're one segment of the population in employment, let's say you're a municipal in Southern Texas, you want to know what other municipals are paying, we can drill down and get that information and provide that to you to help you go to your employer, the board, the mayor, and argue your case for more employment. Where that's really important is we've got to have the data. We do okay here in some areas where we're weak in the assistant area. We just don't have enough data. In fact, it's interesting. If you break it down by division into, say, municipal or resort and private, semi-private, it's interesting to see the numbers, who pays more and who pays less. And that's just simply a function of who's filled it out. So we need more data, and it is going to be tied to dollars that come directly back to the section this year. So if you haven't filled it out, it's simple. It doesn't take 5 minutes to fill out. That's being on the top end gracious. You can do it from your phone. But it's absolutely critical because we're using that data, and the more data we have, the better off we are able to help you get the report, generate the report for you to use to your employer.
More data, more insight, more availability for you all, better compensation. So we'll be pushing that hard again this year. If you haven't done it, it takes 2 seconds to do. So please encourage you to go on, even update it when you might have finished a review. You might have gotten an increase as you started the year. Great time to go on, make a note, put that down as a takeaway from the annual meeting. But please go on to pga.org and update your compensation information. Kelly, we do have another logo that's on the screen. If you want to just touch on it real quick about executive search and how big that's really grown, and why this is also a member benefit.
Sure. It has grown exponentially over the last few years, and if you follow PGA of America Career Services on LinkedIn, you probably see the growth in there. Quite a lot of searches, in a lot of different jobs. We've been fortunate to just finish one recently here today. I'm looking at you on the front row at Royal Oaks Country Club and Houston Country Club. Earlier in the year in 2022. So Dallas Country Club several years ago. So some big searches, and I think Dave has said he'd always be willing to speak on our behalf, but I think what makes us different from other search firms, number one, other than maybe the fee, is we actually care about the member and the client, right? So we're working for the employer and for the members throughout the process. So we want to make sure our members are putting their best foot forward. Like Doug said, we're available to help throughout the process. And that's not where it ends. If they don't get the job, we actually have a candidate who was in another search I worked in who reached out to me and said, hey, I can't be at the meeting today, but I'll be at the dinner tonight. Do you think I could catch you for 20, 30 minutes before the dinner to really talk about how I can prepare for the next interview that I'm in? So that's really important to us. We want to understand what makes somebody a great fit for a job and what's important to you and how that aligns with the positions you're pursuing and try to help you get where you want to be. The other thing that's really important is that the jobs are as competitive as they possibly can be. Bottom line, I mean, it really is. And, that relationship that we're building with the general manager or the club president or both is critical because it gives us an opportunity to educate them on what's going on in the industry and hopefully make a difference long term. So it's been a great space for us to be in, and like I said, if you're in the running for a job and we're involved, reach out. We do want to help you as much as we can. And then if you don't advance in that search, we still want to help you. And we want to understand what's important and help you get where you want to be.
Definitely, and I think you summed it up well. We have an interest in the facility that we're obviously working for, but we have a very big interest in our member as well, and that's what's super important about that process. And kudos to Kelly and Doug for the work that they do in that space. Let's go to championships. We've seen tremendous growth in our championships. We've seen elevation from facilities to the quality to the different formats. We understand that championships is an important member benefit to the people in this room and the people that aren't in this room. I want to throw it to Andrew, who's on stage. Andrew, talk about sponsors and our events. Can you share why sponsors support our events and how it does help our members?
Absolutely. I want to start with some numbers here. In 2020, we had about $547,000 in total purse money. Okay, so that's COVID year, okay. So 2021, that rose to $642,000, and last year that's $765,000 in total purse money. So that's something that our section staff is doing in terms of supporting the PGA members out there. And a lot of that has to do with also our quality of facilities and rotation of facilities. We're in new markets, we're going to new facilities, we're returning to facilities that want us. And in relation to that then, we have sponsors coming to us wanting to activate, wanting to get in front of PGA members. This year was pretty exciting that 4 of our section major stroke play events, 3 of them have title sponsors. 2 of them are non-golf companies, and 1 was a brand new company. So that's just kind of a trend that we're seeing, is that sponsors from new golf products, new golf services, to non-golf companies are coming to us because they want to ride that COVID post-golf boom. We work with probably close to 70 plus companies this past year, and we're probably projecting 80 plus companies just because of companies knocking at our door. One thing I do want to say is that when you do have a partner that sends you an email or gives you a phone call, just take 5 minutes to do a quick reply or just hear them out. It goes a long way with them. Just hearing or letting them be able to provide that pitch to you. I'm not saying buy anything or take them up on that service, but just listening goes a really long way. That way we can continue to kind of provide benefits to our partners, which in return provides benefits to everyone out in this room.
And obviously, we just went to the PGA show. We met with a lot of partners there, Andrew. What's the latest of, where can they get all this information? What's the best way to get a hold of our partners and know who they are?
Yeah, so certainly on our website, we have a kind of a partner contact list. So that's where we list all of our partners with their information, what companies are reps. So if you're ever looking to bring a new apparel item line in or a new service or anything like that, just take, like I said, 5 or 10 minutes, look on that partner page to see what partners we're working with. We're supporting everybody in this room. And then we also send out the communications in our weekly emails with partnership announcements, e-blasts. We're getting big on social media. So, but the main reason is, main page is the partner list online.
And And again, we had great partners here today throughout these 2 days, but throughout the entire year, we're looking forward to activating with lots of partners. Please follow up, please send thank yous, and please, at the end of the day, consider doing business with them. Becca, I think you're the last one to speak on stage. You got a microphone, you ready to go? Okay, she is ready, okay, which is great. Becca, let's talk about the suite of player development products available to our PGA members through the PGA of America and how they drive revenue to our PGA members at a section level.
Thank you, Thomas. So most of you may know when I was hired last year, it was pretty much a PGA Junior League only position, and that's changed a lot in the past 12 months. Kelly and I joke that we're going to create a hashtag for player engagement consultants that says not just Junior League. However, that is still a large part of what I do. So Junior League, my focus in that is helping drive value to you as the member, which then obviously benefits the section as well. So how can we help you grow your programs? If you haven't done Junior League in a while, then why not? I asked a couple of you earlier today, so tell me why you're not doing it. And I like to see the different answers and just kind of help you troubleshoot. But in addition to PGA Junior League, we do, as Thomas mentioned, have a full suite of products. So in the past year, the PGA of America finalized the purchase of Next Gen Golf, which includes the National High School Golf Association, Collegiate Club Golf Association, and what was formerly City Tour. So all of those have now been rebranded under the PGA brands. They are typically and historically been consumer-focused entities or businesses. So our goal in the player engagement department is to now make those a benefit to you as the member. So we may be reaching out and saying, would you like to host an event here, or how can you help us envision building some programming around these types of events? I'll highlight a couple really quick because we relaunched what used to be Family Cup and is now Family Golf. Excellent for, especially for our public facilities and getting more people out to play. I know that your tee time and your books right now don't look like there's a downtrend. What we're wanting to do is make sure that you are able to sustain that even if there is a downtrend in golf, right? So the golfers that have come in over the COVID boom, we want to help you keep them engaged well after the COVID boom so that your lesson books are still full, your value is still driven up. The other one that I would highlight for you right now is what was formerly City Tour. So City Tour is now called Team Golf, and so it's essentially, it is PGA Junior League but for adults. So it's an opportunity for adults to go out and play on a team. I got to play at an event in Northern Texas last year, a lot of fun, but also a great way for our PGA members to offer programming for adults that may not necessarily take lessons or may be intimidated by like a one-off lesson. So a group opportunity.
Very good. Good.
All right, thank you, Becca. Well, Thomas is going to throw you in the hot seat here. So everyone in this room and definitely in our office knows how passionate you are about junior golf. Can you share with the room here how that program continues to be so important to our membership?
Well, yeah, obviously, if it wasn't for the work in this room, our program wouldn't be at the size that it's at. You know, 2022 was another record year for our junior golf program. We reached the height of it with being the largest out of all 41 sections, where we had 4,196 members last year, which is unbelievable. You know, through the tournament programming and really utilizing some pretty conservative estimates, we believe that program drives about $14 million to our professionals and to your facilities each year, from lessons to equipment, to, we all know parents love some golf carts at events, to the food and beverage at facilities, but that's a very conservative effort, conservative number that we feel is why we have the junior golf program. You know, our mission is to grow the game, and what better way to do that than through junior golf? You know, we're really excited. Hopefully you saw the announcement last week that we had a little shift in our alignment within our staff, within our office, where we felt like internally really all that we were focused on was our Strixon Billiard Factory Prestige Tour, which started with 5 events in 2012, and this year we'll have 37 events, which is the pinnacle of our junior golf program, which is our high-end 2-day tours. But that's only 37 events. We have 400 plus events that start with drive, chip, and putt, PGA Junior League, Little Linksters, Junior Links, and Junior Tour. And with that realignment change, Amanda Hill and JT Milner on our team are really going to be focused on those 5 first entryway points. We believe that that's where the true Grow the Game initiative is, where we're trying to create lifelong golfers that then become club members, that then become, you know, maybe a board president down the road, but they got to start somewhere. And we believe that that roadmap is so important for everybody in this room, and we're really proud of it. This year we'll run about 13 DCPs. We'll do the Junior League with all of our professionals. We're We'll do our championship for them. And then for Little Links, Junior Links Junior Tour, you know, I think we had 5 or 7 events yesterday and over this weekend. So our spring, summer, and fall series will continue, and we're really proud of it, and we feel like it's a really good benefit to everyone in this room. Hence, when you're looking at the STPGA For You, you know, STPGA Junior Golf got its own box. You know, our foundation of PGA Reach Southern Texas does have 4 distinct pillars of our junior golf program, our scholarship program, our veteran program, and then our employment space. But just due to the impact that it has on you, our PGA members, we felt like junior golf needed to be brought out to its own box, and hence why that ended in that space here. You know, I think one of the things that I'm looking forward to, because the team loves when I bring up ideas, especially at 4 o'clock on a Friday, right, Scott? You love when I do that. But you know, again, regularly evaluate the market for potential growth opportunities. Yes, we're the best. Yes, we believe we're the best. Yes, we have the largest, but we need to continue to push that envelope. What are we doing? What can we do in this marketplace to benefit you all, but continue to grow the game? And we're excited about some ideas that potentially might happen or potentially might not happen. But I think with this vision that we put together, it's going to allow our team to continue to think that way. And I think that's important for everybody in this room. Kelly, I want to turn it to you here. You know, at the end of this book, it talks about elevate the association. You know, I think you have a very unique perspective on this room, on this panel here. When we talk about leadership and governance, I know you've served on board, you're a PGA member, you've worked at the section, you obviously work now with PGA of America in your regional role. You know, what would you tell everyone in this room about this booklet?
I think the most important thing for all of you and for all of us sitting up here on the stage is really just communication. If we as PGA of America staff and as Southern Texas PGA staff lose sight of what's important to you, then we're going to go in the wrong direction. Same thing with us that work for PGA of America. If we're not talking to you, 6, 8, 10, 12 members a day, then we can come up with great ideas and programs and get way off target on what's important to you and what's important to your facilities, what's important to your programs. So I think the biggest thing, and some of you, you look at the front of the room and you see a lot of leaders of the section, past presidents, people that have been really involved, a lot of committee chairs sitting around the room, and some of you are saying, well, I just don't feel like I have the bandwidth or the time to commit to being involved, on a committee, running for office, and excited about the elections coming up, but pick up the phone and just call. Just stay connected. When you're upset about something, when you have an idea, when you heard something, you want to just chat through it, pick up the phone and call a section staff member. Call one of your officers. Call your district director. They're sitting over there in Monterey. Pick up the phone and call them. It's important to all of us to know what's important to you. Because again, we want to move in the right direction, and we can only do that if we hear from you.
Well said, Kelly. And again, this is your organization. Yes, we can put a booklet together, but I continue to, preach to our team that we have to stay connected to you all. We want to hear from you. If it's a random phone call, if it's a random idea, if you heard something, feel free to please reach out to us. And that's why all of us are on stage here today, to help you, to serve you throughout the entire year. So with that being said, we're going to do rapid fire to end the session. We're going to go down the row here. We'll just randomly pick. Doug, I put you first, and that's what's on my script, so you're going to go first. But I would love to hear from everybody. What was the question? What am I asking? I know what I was asking. What are you most excited about for 2023 and how we're going to serve our members, Doug?
Yeah, I had reserved the right to change, right? After this,
You have
the value of this book. It's vision, and you're very fortunate that my grandfather always said, if you aim at nothing, you hit it every time. And the section has a vision, and your leadership on the front row here and your staff do a great job. I was sitting in a boardroom in another section. They said, hey, what if we gave you $100,000 every year unattached? What would you do with it? And they really couldn't envision that. They didn't have a vision for what that would look like. If I gave Thomas another 100, he would spend it tomorrow, right? Because he has a vision. Y'all have a vision. So I'm excited that even my little part of that in terms of career services and how to come alongside you it's just going to be better because you're aiming at something. So kudos.
I appreciate that, Doug. Dylan?
So I would definitely agree with Doug in terms of vision, but specifically with this regional model. I'm excited about it because I can't tell you how many places across the country we've been before now, but now we'll be able to be focused on supporting the 6 sections in this region. And so I'm excited to be here. I went to school not too far from this area, so I'm back home. So I'm excited to be with you all. And please reach out to me for whatever you need.
Awesome, I appreciate that. Becca?
Well, I can't say vision, because that's not.
Can't say that, yeah.
I'm going to say you. That's what I'm most excited about for this year. So last year was new. I was learning my sections, I was learning my position. This year I really get to focus on relationships and helping you. So if there's 2 things that I'm truly passionate about, it's the game of golf and helping people. And so I'm excited about that for this year. I'm also excited to watch your pocketbooks grow. So in the last, year to date, we have put $494,630 into the pockets of Southern Texas PGA members through player engagement programs. And so knowing that there's more offerings here in 2023, that's just more opportunity for you.
Great answer, great statistic. Kelly?
Really excited about supporting our associates and seeing more of them become future members of the PGA of America. Another thing I'm excited about, I'm assuming I can have multiple answers here, is working more closely with the sections that we serve. We have 2 other members of the Central Region team that serve sections in another district, but we collaborate every single week, talking through situations with how we can help members. We're learning that Becca and Austin Jarko and their roles as player engagement consultants are talking to members oftentimes that might be different members than Doug and Jackie Madison and I are talking to. So that's a beautiful thing, right? Because we're able to touch more members with the team that we have. But really partnering with the sections and section leadership. It was a privilege to the Friday before Halloween come and do a session on predictive index with Thomas and his team, and everybody's in costumes. It was an interesting fun day. But really enjoy that engagement and that partnership, and looking forward to how we can better serve members together going forward.
I agree. Andrew?
I think the main one is just growing revenue through our sponsorship program on our section and foundation side to kind of provide a better experience for our PGA members, the amateurs that play in a few of our events, and also our junior golf families. And then also, I think it's kind of cool and unique in my position is finding new partners that can bring value to your facility. For example, Ricky at Westwood, there's a company that he's just brought on that we kind of talked about over at the PGA show that does, rather than using an analog signal for radios, they use cell service. I bet there's a few facilities out there in the hill country that can use a radio that can go anywhere rather than just an analog signal. So just an example of a partner that's coming to us that wants to partner, get in front of all y'all. I think that's really makes my job fun and increases value to everyone in this room.
Good answer. Scott?
Absolutely. Well, I'm most excited to wrap up today and tomorrow in great fashion and provide fantastic education for y'all. This is my favorite event of the year, and to a fantastic annual awards banquet tonight, celebrating Golf Professional of the Year, James Brown. But furthermore, continuing to put on quality education for each and every one of you, and throughout 2023, developing better relationships with each of you. I talk to many of you on a regular basis. For those of you who I don't, my cell phone number has been in all the emails that have been sent out around this event. Please reach out and call me. Any one of your voices can be the catalyst for a new event, a new change, a new idea that really affects your fellow PGA members and associates.
Well, I appreciate that, Scott. And rounding everything up, I think for us, we're really proud of this. You might think that, it's just a couple of pages, but I think it's, my job that our board and our officers hire me to do is to make sure that this remains a vision and remains at the forefront of what we do day in and day out. And I'm excited about what that's going to do for our business model and serving you all, growing the game, and elevating the association. So with that being said, let's give this big group a big round of applause.